Not necessarily the opinions of Walnut Media USA, management, station manager Janelle Reeves, any particular denomination or religion, the mailman, the church lady, or anyone else of sound mind and body. Now, here's the Talk of the Heartland with Mac McKoy on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
Good afternoon. It's a Thursday, the 17th day of November in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McKoy, and welcome to the Talk of the Heartland on the Heartland's Christian voice. AM 660, FM 106.7, and all around the world. And by the way, if you're watching this, then you know when I do that with my finger, I go all around the world on KCRO.com. Hey, coming up this afternoon, one of my favorite shows, Mr. Van Deeb. First name Van, last name Deeb. And if you've been in Omaha any time in your life, you know who he is. He's just an awesome guy. And he does a show called The Journey. And he plays that back, or he does that every Thursday here at 5 o'clock. So that's what we will be doing at 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, what we're doing is we're giving you an opportunity to give back to the local police. No, I don't want your money. This isn't about money. It's about something more important than money. It's about a card. That's right, a simple card. Your grandkids can draw one. Your kids can draw one. You can buy one. It doesn't matter. But in the studio, I have with me today a young man who founded an organization called Cards for Cops. Now, you may have just said, oh, I've heard of that. Yeah, it's been around for how long, Nixon?
It's been around for basically like 4 years now.
All right. And Nixon is going to tell us a little bit about his passion and why he's doing this. And meanwhile, what I want you to know is you can drop a card by the Hy-Vee at 90th and Center. Here, give me that. 90th and Center, is that right? Or take them to the Omaha Memorial Church, right? All right. The Hy-Vee is probably easier. You can talk.
Oh, the church is probably the first drop-off point because we're doing it through personal ministries as well. If they can't make it out there, then they're welcome to take it to the 90th and Center Hy-Vee.
Yeah, the only thing I think about is the church isn't always open. And so either way. And you can bring them down to the radio station. You can mail them to the radio station if you want. And if you need information, you can always reach me at Mac, M-A-C, like macaroni, at KCRO.com. All right, Mr. Nixon, how are you?
I'm very good today. What about you, Mr. McKoy?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Now, I have to ask you, and I haven't asked you this yet. Was he named after Richard?
No. No, much to my mother's dismay.
Okay.
No.
How did you name him Nixon? Because I love the name.
His dad named him after his dad's late brother.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, first time I met him in church, I thought, boy, there's a sharp kid. He's got a great name. Now, obviously, I am a conservative or whatever, and I do a really poor impression of President Nixon. And this is when he was standing before the cameras and he said, honestly, I'm not a crook. And it doesn't sound like him. It's just the words he used.
Right.
It's a bad imitation. All right, so that's what we're going to do for a while this afternoon. So get your cards and letters ready. And they will be delivered to the police department here in Omaha. And as I said, you can draw them. I always tell my kids, and we're doing this for Christmas this year, I don't want you to buy me something. I don't need anything. I'm in good shape. But I'd love for you to draw me a card. Crayons, colored pencils, stick men, I don't care. And I actually have a folder at home that's big over all the years between the kids and grandkids drawing me cards.
I keep one for Nixon, too.
Do you?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. All right, so Nixon, how'd you come up with this idea?
Well, one year I just thought because local police departments never get to spend Christmas with their families, so I thought, let's just do something nice for them. So let's draw them a few cards.
Okay, and you in the first year you drew a bunch, right?
Yep, I did.
Do you remember how many?
I have no idea.
The first year we started with about 200 cards.
Oh, my heavens. all drawn by him?
He drew about 50 of them.
Okay.
We did get some donations.
Wow.
It actually started because we were making pies on Thanksgiving that year.
Okay.
And we had about 5 extra pies. And so we took them to the gas stations where we saw police.
Okay.
And so that's how we came up with the pies for police, which kind of grew into the cards for cops.
Yeah, much easier to do cards than pies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless you buy them at Hy-Vee or whatever. So 200 the first year, that was 4 years ago. Do you have a goal for this year?
We would like to be able to. So last year we had a request of about 500 cards. We were only able to get about 350 because it was just me and Nixon and about 3 other people putting it together. But our end goal is obviously we would like to go nationwide with it. But first we want to be able to get all the cops in Omaha.
Yeah.
So on those 2 days, there's about a demand for about 700 cards.
Oh, my God.
In total.
That's how many police we have in Omaha?
That's the last time that we it's police, detectives, and supporting personnel.
Sure, okay.
So
Wow,
that was
that's
the last that we
incredible.
got from downtown.
All right, so we will work hard today to have this person listening, whoever he or she may be, to maybe you'll get your heartstrings pulled a little by what this young man and his family is doing. Now, Nixon, I forgot to ask you, how old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
Wow, you look like you're almost 11. Are you close to 11?
Not till next year, April 19.
Oh my gosh, you and I are almost on the same birthday.
May I ask what your birthday is?
All right, I'll give you a hint. My birthday is famous for 3 things. Abraham Lincoln was shot, the Titanic sunk, and here's the easy one. It's tax day. You
I'm
know?
going to guess about the second.
15th.
Wow, we're just 4 days apart.
That's right. That's what I told you. Now, I'm a little older than you. I'm 12. So you got a couple years to catch up on me. He's not believing that for 1 minute. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about how this organization started. We're going to talk about how you can participate in it. And once again, there's no money involved here. All I want you to do is I want you to understand that there is a young man, an 11-year-old young man, who is dedicating his time around the Christmas season to have cops get cards, as well as detectives and support people. So we'll talk about that as we go through that today. Also, we're going to talk a little bit more, as we started yesterday, about 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter. I bring that up because I'm getting married this Saturday. And that's always been a very important chapter in the Bible for me because it is God, who is love, telling us not only what love is, but what it can't be. If it's going to be love, there's some things it can't be. So we'll talk about that today. It's 14 minutes after 4 o'clock on this little chilly. Boy, we missed the snow. Talked to a buddy of mine in Des Moines today. They had snow, car accidents, because it was black ice. So the snow came and it got moved, and it looked like the roads were clean. So anyway, Des Moines, just 2.5 hours to the east of us, got it a lot worse than we did here. But it's probably coming. Although they're saying warmer weather next week. High on Sunday near 47. Sunny and windy for Sabbath, Saturday, with a high around 28. So we're gonna almost double temperature in 24 hours.
Welcome to Nebraska.
Yeah, that's right. Right now it is 27 at AM 660, 106.7 in Lincoln, and all around the world at kcro.com.
KCRO is seeking partners interested in sharing God's message to our listeners. We would welcome the opportunity to discuss the mission of your business, organization, or ministry and how it might fit into the KCRO lineup. For more information, go to kcro.com and contact Janelle.
Sweet hour of prayer.
Greetings, 660 KCR listeners. This is Pastor Brian Page of the Pleasant Green Baptist Church here in Omaha, Nebraska, where we are a Christ-centered ministry that ministers to all God's people. Hey, we're coming to you with great joy and excitement to let you know that the Pleasant Green Baptist Church will be airing the Sweet Hour of Prayer broadcast every Sunday from 9 to 9:30 a.m. on 660 KCRO. Please tune in to the show and be blessed.
Well, Elisa Ilana did it. They created the perfect piece of jewelry for me. Hi, I'm Boomer Mac, and I have looked for a jewelry maker to take my idea for a lapel pin and create it for me. But the artisans at Elisa Ilana blew my expectations out of the water, and for less than I had budgeted. Elisa Ilana is located 1 block south of Dodge off 132nd. It's the beautiful white building on the east side of the street. So this Christmas, give that special person in your life something handmade and beautiful from Elisa Ilana. And if it's Pandora jewelry you desire, Elisa Ilana has the largest in-house selection of Pandora charm bracelets and Pandora jewelry in the U.S. This Christmas, give the gift of you with a specially designed family heirloom from your friends at Elisa Ilana, 13132 Davenport Street. Tell them Boomer Mac sent you.
In John chapter 9, we read about an encounter between Jesus and a man who was born blind. Their exchange sparked controversy in the community, but the final outcome was wonderful to behold. Join us when Chuck Swindoll recounts the story and offers application for today, Friday on Insight for Living.
Insight for Living with Chuck Swindoll, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. on KCRO, 660 a.m. in Omaha and 106.7 FM in Lincoln.
KCRO.
Good afternoon. It's a Thursday, the 17th day of November in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McKoy, and this is Talk of the Heartland on the Heartland's Christian Voice, AM 660, FM 106.7 in Lincoln, and, of course, all around the world at KCRO.com. And I got to tell you, this is my 50th year in radio. I started in 1972 at my local radio station in Beatrice, Nebraska. And I never dreamed in an entire world until about 13, 14 years ago. No, I'm sorry. It would have been '08. So 08, so that's now, I guess that's about 13, 14. That you could ever say anywhere in the world, somebody could hear you. And now with the internet, of course, we have our own app, which you're welcome to use. It's free. It doesn't have advertising on it unless you're listening to a program that has advertising. But it doesn't, we don't monetize it, if that's what I'm trying to say. And it's a great app, and it's just KCRO.com. We're on a worldwide app called TuneIn. This radio program itself is being broadcast live on social media right now. And if you don't know, we have cameras. And this is a face for radio, right? It's not because we want you to see us. It's because I want you to see our transparency. I want you to see when we talk, and I want you to see when we cry. And I want you to see when we get excited. And you're going to hear Mr. Nixon get pretty excited today. But so those are on 4 social media. And then we're on a website that has over 400 million subscribers. And all I need today is you. I only need one listener. Because today we're talking to a young man, 11 years old, who started a awesome thing 4 years ago. And it's called Cards for Cops. They don't collect money. They don't ask for donations. All they want you to do is to fill out a card that will go to a single police officer here in Omaha and thanking them for serving. That's all we need. And you can drop it off at the Hy-Vee at 90th and Center. You can drop it off here at the radio station. You can send it to me at the radio station. However it is that you want to get it to us, you can get it to us. And there are 700
That's our goal.
Police, detectives, support people, just in Omaha. So we hope that you participate today. Now, before I get starting about 1 Corinthians 13, as I started yesterday, Nixon, how did this start? I mean, by heavens, you were 6 or 7?
Nixon is actually 10 now. He hasn't quite
Oh,
reached
I said 11. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm 11.
So-
That's right.
So he was about 6 when he kind of birthed the idea on a child level. Go ahead.
And you said it came out of you were baking pies
On Thanksgiving.
and you had some extra pies,
Bubba.
Like,
right? And what happened to the pies? Did you throw them in Mom's face?
I really
would've
wish I
liked-
would. I really wish I would have though, but unfortunately, I saw a cop that would look pretty sad on the Thanksgiving day.
Yeah.
So I just was trying to cheer her up, and it actually looked like it worked. That
Oh,
was a
sure it
win.
does. You know, it's something I do, Nixon. Whenever I see a police officer, and I'm going to tell you 99% of the time. I can't tell you all the time because of the situation that we may be around. But I'll go across the room in a restaurant when I see a police officer, and I'll just simply walk up and say, "Thanks for serving. I really
Yes.
appreciate it." And the smiles, probably the smile you saw on that lady that day on
Yes.
Thanksgiving. It just warms the cockles of your heart because you know most of the time what people are saying to them is not nice.
Yeah,
And so when you gave that lady a pie, you did a good thing.
because most people treat police very badly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's because they're you know why they treat them badly?
Why?
Because they do bad things. And then they have to answer to the cops.
Yep.
How
And-
fast were you going, Mr. McKoy? Oh, I was a little over. Yeah, 20 over. Ticket.
Yep.
Well, I don't. First of all, I don't go 20 mile an hour over the speed limit. But when I get pulled over by police, which, every 2 or 3 years I get pulled over for something, I always thank them then, too.
Yes.
Because they need to realize that as they're serving our community, that means
Yes.
they have to pull people over. And they have to come to our houses, and they have to get into dangerous situations.
Do you want to tell him what you told me about Christ's life, or do you want me to share with them?
I would rather. Christ's life, Jesus was giving. Jesus wasn't saying mean things about people. Even Jesus tried to get people's attention too, but people just wouldn't listen.
So Christ led a life of service, and his whole entire ministry was about reaching people. And this was one way that Nixon and I knew that we could reach literally hundreds of people within a short period of time.
We're gonna up that today into the thousands. Is that okay with you?
That's very much okay.
You don't want anybody to shut off the radio, right? You want them to leave it on.
I want them to leave it on long enough so they can hear the message.
And the message is we have police in this community, in your community, and even whether you live in Omaha or Lincoln or Timbuktu, there are police in all of our communities
Yes.
that deal with the worst of people
Yes.
and the worst of situations.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not the people's fault. I mean, they're broken. They have drug, alcohol problems. They have domestic issues. They have all kinds of things. But they're the ones that go in and
Yes.
rescue us.
Yes.
And so it's important that we say something to them, especially around Jesus'
Yes.
birthday. Now, it used to be pies for cops,
Pies for police.
pies for police. And as his mother, I would imagine you knew you couldn't bake 100 pies.
Nor was I trying to.
Yeah, right.
No.
So what? After the first year, though, it was pies.
Well, the first time we gave anything was pies, but it was immediately the next month, actually, that same year, when Nixon drew his first card and he brought it to me, and he said, "Mom, I just want to give this to a cop." And I
Okay.
said, "Okay, do you want to just do one?" And he said, "No, I'll probably do more," but I didn't realize he was going to draw 50 that year either.
Wow.
So
Wow. In my backpack, Nixon. By the way, my guest today is Nixon and his mother, Cynthia. Crystal, sorry. Well, I saw the C in my head.
Yeah.
See? And we're talking about Cards for Cops and how you can participate in that. And the first time I ever met Nixon, he told me about Cards for Cops.
Yeah, last year.
And it would have been...
It was last year.
Yeah, October or November after I first moved here.
Yep.
And and by the way, you are a sharp-dressed man when you come to church. Man, you look good. You dress yourself?
Yep. And
Yep.
sadly, that suit is almost being outgrown, so Mom's looking everywhere for a new one. And I'll make sure to come sharper next time.
All right. You know where I shop for clothes?
Where?
Goodwill. They're great clothes.
We like Goodwill.
They're all cleaned up. You bet.
Mom likes Goodwill.
I think everybody likes Goodwill, and that's an organization to support.
Yep.
The people that they hire, most people would consider them unhireable.
They come from challenged backgrounds. We've actually done some work with Goodwill.
Good, and so, and if I'm low on the totem pole because you hear that I shop at Goodwill, that's okay. I'm not ashamed of it. Kind of like Paul when he said, I'm not ashamed of the gospel.
Right.
I'm not ashamed of Jesus. I'm not ashamed of telling you that I love Jesus. Well, I'm not ashamed to be frugal. And the best way to do that is to go to a good place like, I don't think there is any other place in this community other than Goodwill.
Salvation Army has some good programs.
Do they?
They really do actually have a lot of job training programs. They
good.
have some programs that work with children who are on the autism spectrum, like Nixon. So if I'm going to shop somewhere for clothes, I'm usually at Big Wheels to Butterflies, Goodwill, or Salvation Army.
I don't know what Big Wheels for Butterflies is. I'm sorry.
It's a children's clothing store. They buy your clothes, and then you can go buy clothes from them, but it's a family-owned store.
All right. And where's it at?
They have about 4 or 5 locations in Omaha, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd like to hear more about that.
Yep.
Because I'm just a big kid. Do they have anything that'd fit me?
I find things for me every once in a while.
Well, there you go. All right. So I want you to tell me, young man, what you think the police officer feels when they open one of your handmade cards.
They feel very happy when I see. Even sometimes I go up and give them hugs.
Yeah?
And I always ask for pictures whenever I see one.
Mm-hmm.
And the police officers' day just completely change whenever I see them on the streets, like very sad of something.
Are you kind of famous among the police?
They know him pretty well.
Yeah. And for the right reasons.
Especially the ones in our neighborhood. So we live about 4 blocks west of the Northwest Precinct, and
Okay.
Nixon is a commoner over there.
Good.
Yeah, like police are like my best friends that I never get to see.
Well, they know you're there, and they know you're thinking of them. I grew up in Beatrice, and I grew up about a block and a half from the sheriff's department. And back then, the sheriff lived on the main level and the basement of the house, and then up above is where the prisoners were kept.
Oh.
And so the sheriff's wife would do all the cooking for them, and every once in a while she'd hand me a tray and say, here, take this to number 5 or number 4, whatever they were. Scared to death, I was. But most of the time, they were some of the nicest people I ever met. They just, bad luck, made a bad choice, whatever it is.
Yep.
So,
And have you ever heard the verse, but I just can't remember the book and stuff. Have you ever heard the verse, blessed is he who is generous to the needing?
no, where's that come from?
I cannot remember. I heard it from someone who was out
Nixon
giving
did
things.
pick a verse for today, though, too.
Well, tell me that verse again, because I'll look it up for you over here on the Google. What is it again?
Blessed is he who is generous to the needy.
Do you really think I can type that fast, Mr. Nixon? BLESS. Blessed is he
Who
who
is generous.
Oh, how do you spell generous?
GENEROS.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll find out where that Bible verse is, and it actually has more to it than that, and we'll share that with you. Mr. Nixon is my guest today. He's the founder of Cards for Cops, and every Christmas season, he asks you to do one thing. Don't send money. Don't bring toys. That's not for him. Just draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're a grandma or grandpa like I am, I'd love to play with crayons with my kids. I'll be honest with you. I'm a big kid myself. Yeah. And so we'll sit down and we'll draw pictures. And I'm talking about 20-year-old kids.
Yep.
And we'll still draw pictures. And this year we're asking you to draw some pictures. and get them to Nixon so you can participate in Cards for Cops. You can drop them off at a Hy-Vee at 90th and Center. You could drop it off at the Omaha Memorial Church on 72nd Street, 840 72nd Street. You can mail them here to me at KCRO. You can also email them as an attachment, and I will print them up. You can email them to me at Mac, M-A-C, like macaroni, at kcro.com. And thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on the Talk of the Heartland, KCRO.
If you're a mom, we want to encourage you, support you, and remind you of how important your mom job is. Hey, it's Jenny from Channel Mom Radio, and we bring you dynamic interviews with well-known authors and experts to help boost your mom game and your grandma game to be a blessing to your whole incredible family. So tune in every week for Channel Mom Radio.
Channel Mom, Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 9 p.m. on KCRO. Home is where the holidays happen, and it's time to get ready for hosting. At NFM, we make the holidays easy for you. Check everything off your list with our huge in-store selection. NFM has lowered prices on thousands of items across the whole store, just in time for the holidays. Plus, shop with budget-friendly, long-term financing and convenient drive-through pickup. Big selection, big savings at NFM. Minimum monthly payments required, 18% APR. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Friday on Truth for Life, Alistair Begg explains whose commands we're to follow.
Very interesting, isn't it? How some of us, in failing to obey the clear commands of God, come up with some very interesting commands for other people. Why not just obey God's commands, instead of having to come up with your own?
Learn more when you join us Friday on Truth for Life with Alistair Begg.
Truth for Life with Alistair Begg, weekday mornings at 8 on KCRO. 660 AM in Omaha and 106.7 FM in Lincoln.
We all know prices are skyrocketing on everything these days, right? So it may be a great idea to get a checkup at Vandervorst Insurance. Give Greg and Cheryl a call at 402-330-7979. You've heard it before, 330-7979. Things change every year, and I'm so glad Vandervorst Insurance is watching out for my family's house, cars, and my other stuff that we seem to think we need. 330-7979. Tell them Boomer Jackie sent you.
Why do people call the Narrow Path radio broadcast to ask their questions? I think it's because they have found that they don't always get conventional answers from the host and predictable answers, but thoughtful answers. And usually more than one side of a question is considered fairly. I'm Steve Gregg. I'm the host of the Narrow Path every weekday. We hope you'll join us if you haven't already done so on this station or at our website, thenarrowpath.com.
The Narrow Path with Steve Gregg. Weekday evenings at 8 on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
Now your forecast for KCRO for Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Lincoln. Lows level off around 12 tonight under partly cloudy skies, northwesterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 25 tomorrow. Mainly sunny skies and calm. Mainly clear skies and quiet again tomorrow night. Lows around 15. Mainly sunny skies and calm Saturday with daytime highs approaching 28. 48 Sunday. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley on KCRO. Right now, 29.
The Heartland's Christian voice, KCRO.
Good afternoon. It's the 17th day of November. And live from the Divine Truth Studios, this is Talk of the Heartland. Good afternoon. My name is Mac McKoy, and I appreciate you listening today. This is the Heartland's Christian voice, and we are the only, and I know this is a big statement. I've checked it out, but I'm very, very humbled by the fact that this radio station is 100 years old this year. Wow. It was one of the first stations on the air here in Omaha in 1922, and over the course of those 100 years, we have been a leader. We have been an evangelistic tool for all kinds of ministries here in town, and we're talking to a young man today by the name of Nixon, And he is a perfect example of why this radio station is on the air. And by the way, there are no other Christian radio stations that do live talk on a local basis. I mean, I know there are other Christian radio stations, and you can listen to those. I'm okay with that. You get the word. You get blessed any way you can. But it's only on this station that you'll probably hear your pastor. Or you'll hear about Nixon or somebody else's passion in what they do for the Lord as well as for other people.
Yes.
And we are humbled to be that radio station, especially in a town this big. Omaha, I don't know if you know it, but you're awesome. I mean, I was born here in Omaha, was raised in Beatrice, went to school in Lincoln, worked here in Omaha back in the mighty 1290 Coil days, had a business here in Omaha, and when the Lord called me over here, I was like, no, I don't want. I'm happy. I've been in Des Moines for 40 years, and all my church was there, and my friends and everything, but God was pretty convincing, and so that's why I'm here, and I am so humbled to be a part of this ministry for you. All right, my special guest is Crystal and Nixon, and that's mom and that's son, and Mr. Nixon is 10 years old, almost 11, so I'm a year older than you. You'll never catch up with me. I'm going to be 13 next year, so you just watch it. And Nixon's passion, and I found this out like the first day I met him. His passion is something he created. Him and his mom created this, and it's called Cards for Cops. And we don't want your donations. You know, you might tune around the radio station dials today, and they're asking for $50 here and $40 here, and that's great. They're all good organizations. All we want you to do is to draw a card.
Yep.
Pencil, pen, crayons, colored magic markers. And you say, I can't draw. Well, you could draw a stick man with a badge on and put on the top, thank you for your service, and then sign it at the bottom.
Yes.
You don't even have to use your name. You could just put grandma or grandpa.
Yes.
And those cards are going to go to the Omaha Police Department, all here in Omaha. Even if you live outside of Omaha, send us a card. You can take a picture of it and upload it and send it to me, and I'll print it and make sure Nixon gets it. You could drop it by the radio station here. You could take it to Omaha Memorial Church, 840 North 70th, and you are a employee of Hy-Vee.
Yes.
And you work at the 90th and Center store most of the time.
Most of the time. It's not the only location I'm at, but yes.
Well, you're a cake decorator, and so they haul you all over the place when they got big cake orders. Chances are, if you've ever gotten a cake from Hy-Vee, Nixon's mom probably did something with it. She's got tons of great pictures. All right, so let's talk about how many cards you want this year. How many are you going to draw?
My goal for myself this year is to make double of what I made the first year.
And you made 50 the first year.
Yep, and I'm trying to go for 100 this year.
Have you started?
Yep.
How many you got so far?
About 20 so far.
Ooh, good start. Now, see, if you did 20 a week, how many, so if you got 20 and you want to do 100, how many cards you got left?
I don't know yet.
You got 80.
Oh, 80.
So if you drew 20 a week, 20 into 80 is how much?
4.
So in 4 weeks, that'd be long before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You could deliver 100 cards that you made yourself.
Yep.
I'm going to make a couple for you and give them to you, okay?
We also have the school participates too, Omaha Memorial Seventh-day Adventist School.
How do they participate?
Last year they helped us make cards. Some people wrote letters. Some people took their school pictures and wrote their name and a thank you on the back of their school pictures.
That's neat.
We've had people mail cards to us where they've taken a family picture, or we got a card last year from a child in Kansas City whose dad died in the line of duty. He was also an officer. And
That's
so
awesome.
it was a special touch for him. And the little
Yeah.
boy also was on the spectrum.
Good.
So
Yeah, now you say on the spectrum. Nixon, you know that you're autistic, right?
Yep.
Tell me what that means. I want to hear it from you, not your mom.
To me, that feels like I get really hyper and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I shake my hands around when I'm anxious. And it also affects the way I read sometimes, but I think it is. And and I call it my superpower.
Because I was going to say, you read really well.
Whenever I like read in front of a whole class, my words get like kind of messy.
Yeah, well, there's no big class here. Now, did you bring up Psalm 41:1? That was the verse that you were trying to think of. Blessed is he who cares for the poor. And so I Googled it because I can't live without the Google and looked it up. And this is one of Nixon's favorite verses. And it's apropos that it's his favorite verse because that's what he's doing. He is servicing, not the poor, but the cops, the people that need our applause more than anybody in our street. I know you're proud of our new senator and our new governor and the mayor and all those people. That's great. But how about the man or woman in blue at midnight on a Friday or Saturday night or any night of the week? Especially right now. I don't know what's going on in our country, and I don't really want to know because this world is not my kingdom, okay?
No.
But there's a lot of messed up stuff going on.
There is.
And there's not a morning that I wake up where I turn on KMTV and I don't see that there was a shooting or a killing or
and a lot of times
terrible.
we hear about controversies involving the police where we've had these racial issues come up and police killings and stuff. But what we don't hear about is the everyday stuff. The officer who's given the teddy bears to the little kid who is going through something, or the officer who's stopping his cruiser to play basketball in the streets with the children in the community. So for this, the focus of our campaign was to keep it, that's not the right word. The focus of our movement here was to keep this a positive movement and to bring out some of those more positive aspects of police work. They see a lot of things every day that you and I will never see.
Oh, yeah.
And so imagine, you see these things and you go through this every day. Imagine how that would shake some people's faith, and it could be something as simple as a card that says Jesus loves you.
Well, and there's a story out today about how a bunch of police officers I think they were jogging together. I believe they were with like the school, the cadets.
Yep.
And somebody purposely
Yep.
drove over them, and I think 6 of them passed away or something like
Yep.
that. Killed. Yeah.
For no other reason
than they were cops.
Police. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So autism, but you read real good. Do you have 41:1 in front of you now?
Yes,
Psalm
sir.
41:1. All right, read it for me.
Blessed is he who considers the poor. The Lord will deliver him in time of trouble. That's the New King James Version, if it sounds a little different.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's great. And I hear Nixon read scripture in church all the time, and he's very, very good. So what do you want to be when you grow up? Are you old enough to think about that yet?
All the time. I get to hear about it every day.
All right. What do you want to do?
I want to be a musician when I grow up, but if I can't be a musician, I'll run my own radio station if it's possible.
Here, let me give you my headphones in the chair. You come sit over here. I'll sit over there, and we'll have fun.
I think 2 weeks ago he wanted to be a lawyer who's also a chef.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you play a musical instrument?
I play piano.
And he does really well.
I've heard
he's played at church.
Yeah, I've heard him play.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I play just for fun a guitar.
Yeah. A guitar?
Yeah.
Yep.
I play it just for fun.
Do you have one?
Yeah, at my dad's house.
Yeah, okay.
He's got a small one at his dad's house. We are saving up and working towards. Nixon has a goal, and a gentleman from church actually gifted him a $25 gift card towards the purchase of a guitar for his birthday last year. So that is Nixon's goal, is to be able to purchase an electric guitar.
All right, so you want an electric guitar?
A blue electric guitar, the newest one.
Not just anyone.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, I
He wants
guess
a
we're a
blue
little
one.
picky, aren't we?
Yes.
So we don't want just a guitar. You want an electric guitar.
Yeah, because.
And you don't want any guitar. You want a blue one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do for an amp?
Andrew from church has said that he will hook Nixon up with an amp.
If we could just get
If
him
we
a
can get
blue
the guitar.
electric guitar.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you know, but Santa Claus and I are real good friends.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell I kind of look like him?
Mm-hmm.
Probably never thought of me that way, did you? I have pictures of me in my Santa Claus outfit I can show you. And here's a giveaway. Ho, ho, ho.
I've even made up a song. On to the housetop, Santa in his sleigh, delivering Christmas presents every Christmas day.
Yeah.
Wow.
He started.
Now change the words now to delivering electric blue guitars.
To little boys who pray.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. I like that. All right, so we're coming up on a quarter of, and we're not going to have much time to talk about 1 Corinthians 13, but we were going to spend a little time on it. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but here's what I love about 1 Corinthians 13. See, God wrote it because God is love. I mean, there's no other chefs for love than God. Nobody else created love. He's the only one. And he many times in this verse tells us what love is, but also what it isn't. Start with 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4. Love is patient and love is kind, but it does not envy. It does not boast.
No.
It is not proud.
Yes.
It does not dishonor others. It's not self-seeking.
Yes.
It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. And now here's what it is. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. And most importantly, love never fails.
Yes.
In this world, we have faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these
is love.
Is love. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, one common theme through the Bible is love. It tells us that everything that we do, we should do in love.
Yeah, we should. Think of what the world would be like if we smiled at other
just
people.
Said hi.
And just said hi.
Have you ever heard the song called Smile by Sidewalk Prophets? It starts off with this guy who's out on the streets encouraging people to smile.
Yep.
I haven't, but we could play it for you.
That one little act of love, you know, Christ's whole ministry, his whole life was teaching us how to love one another and love your enemies and pray for your enemies. And I think the removal of love for one another in our hearts has caused 99% of society's problems even today.
Now, you said the name of the song is Smile, and who's the artist?
Sidewalk Prophets.
Sidewalk. Oh, I put street in. That's why I didn't come up. Don't laugh at me. Sidewalk Prophets. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to listen to that song. Is that okay for you?
Yep, that's very much fine.
That'll be your song that we'll play for you today. I'm Mac McKoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job, and I couldn't do it without you. Right here on AM 660, FM 106.7, and all around the world at kcro.com.
Tune in Saturday mornings at 7 for The Bible Says with Ashley Day.
This is Ashley Day, inviting you once again to join us as we seek to answer the question,
just 10 years ago,
what does
Jesus
the Bible
was the
say?
best
Saturday
kept
mornings
secret
at 7
in the Jewish
on
community.
KCRO.
This is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live. Do you have any character-building people in your life? That's what I call the people that make your life difficult. We hate the fact that they're even in our lives, but without them, we'd never come close to what God wants for us. Tune in at 1 o'clock Monday through Friday as we answer questions on how to deal with some of the character-building people in your life.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get, and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Greetings, I'm Jackie Marr with Share His Light Ministries, and in our studio I have Sharon Strube from Voices of Omaha. Hello.
Hello. Greetings to you.
Thank you. Now this is coming up, the 53rd annual Voices of Omaha Handel's Messiah, correct?
That is so correct.
When is it?
It is going to be held on November 20th at the Holland Performing Arts Center at 3 p.m. And there's no admission charge. Seating is just as you come.
Sure.
First serve.
And free will offering.
Free will offering to help us offset the costs.
Absolutely. 53 years. And you are the original cast or
I'm
concert.
a charter member, yes.
Charter
And
member is the word.
I'm very gracious and thankful to the Lord that I can still do it.
Amen. And so 53 years, things have changed in this time. But the beautiful thing is you have the choir of our John Q. Public. Anyone can come and sing. And like I said, the choir sings all of the choir songs, but then you have your soloists.
Yes, we have professional soloists that sing. We have 4 of them. And we have a professional orchestra as well. Many of them play in the Omaha Symphony.
Mm-hmm. So it's about how long?
With the intermission, it's about 3 hours.
3 hours. Okay, great. So we have Voices of Omaha, Handel's Messiah, November 20th, and it's at 3 o'clock. It is free, but there's a free will offering taken. And if you'd like to sing, go to voicesofomaha.org, right?
That is so correct. And we just welcome everyone and anyone who would like to sing this. And we do have music available if you do not have a copy of the Handel's Messiah. We have them for when you come to the first rehearsal.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming by. God bless you, and God bless Handel's Messiah.
100 years, KCRO.
For to us a child is born, to us the son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace. That's Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6. Why do I tell you that? Because we need to keep Christ in Christmas. And one of the ways I'm going to do that this year, this isn't a commercial, by the way, it's just it's the truth. Every gift I give, I'm going to get something that has Jesus in the middle of it. And I would recommend highly that you go to Divine Truth at 84th and Harrison and look at their selection of all kinds of wonderful things. And let's make sure people say Merry Christmas and keep Christ in Christmas. All right, my guest has been today Nixon. He is a 10-year-old young man who started a passionate service to our community about 4 years ago. It's called Cards for Cops. No, I don't want your money. I don't want your stamp money. I don't want anything other than you drawing a card. Now, if you refuse to make one on your own, that's okay. Go to the dollar store or wherever you want to and buy a card. And the only thing I want to make sure you always say in your cards, you can say whatever you want. You can share a memory of when you had an encounter with a police officer and how wonderful they were to you. But the thing I want you to remember is just this one line. And thanks for your service. They don't hear it enough. They don't get it enough. And Nixon is trying hard as he can to make sure that the goal this year is, what, 500 cards? 700 cards. He's got 50 of his or 20 of his already drawn. So I think you could help out. And all you have to do is send them to me here at KCRO. You can email them if you want, and I'll print them up. You can take them to Omaha Memorial Church at 840 North 70th 2nd. And you can also take them to the Hy-Vee at 90th and Center. All right. One of your favorite songs is a song called Smile, right? And it's from the Sidewalk Prophets. So we'll play that for you. And then right before we leave today, Nixon is going to share one of his favorite Bible verses here on AM 660, FM 106.7, and all around the world. Yep, at KCRO.
Hey, I'm out here today encouraging people to smile. Just give me your best smile. You guys are looking good. High fives? No high fives. Okay. So I'm out here encouraging people to smile. He's smiling. Hey, I'm here getting people to smile. Sir, do you have a couple minutes? No, everybody's busy.
Lost your cool and you straight up lost your mind. Tried so hard to stay ahead, but you keep falling behind. Life is gonna pull you down, make it hard to see. But a little change in your point of view could be just what you need. There's always a reason to always choose joy. There's something deeper that the world can't destroy. Smile when you think you can't. Smile, get up and dance. Smile, there's a bigger plan. The storm only lasts for a while. So smile. Happiness is wonderful, but it doesn't stick around. Walking on sunshine, then here come the clouds. You can laugh or you can cry when it all falls apart. But I believe the more you laugh, the more you heal the heart. There's always a reason to always choose joy. There's something deeper that the world can't destroy. Smile when you think you can't. Smile, get up and dance. Smile, there's a bigger plan and you've got a reason to smile. When you think you can't. Smile, just clap your hands. Smile, there's a bigger plan. You've got a reason to smile.
Jeez, Pete, man. Okay.
Of course,
You win.
that's from the YouTube video, and if
That
you've
was
never
awesome,
seen
bro.
the video, it's just hilarious. They're playing ping pong in the street, and the lead singer of the Prophets, what's his name?
I have no idea what his name is, but he has a really good voice.
He has an amazing
I want to tell you a
voice.
story.
And he's playing.
I used to
he's a bigger
believe
guy,
that
and
Jesus
he's playing
was
ping pong in
a
the middle of the
Catholic
street.
God,
Anyway, I
God
hope
of
you
the
look it up.
Gentiles.
It's
I imagined that
Sidewalk
Jesus was Italian.
Prophets
The New
and
Testament was
Smile.
one of those.
All right, well, did you have fun today?
Yes.
You going to come back sometime?
Yep, I will be back here.
All right, now, before we go, I want you to read me your favorite Bible verse. And first of all, tell us what it is.
It's 2 Corinthians 9:6 through 7.
1 Corinthians, what chapter?
No, I meant, sorry about this.
That's all right. 2 Corinthians.
9:6 through 7.
All right, go for it.
But this I say, he who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly, or of necessity. For God's love is a cheerful giver.
God loves a cheerful giver.
For God loves a cheerful giver. Excuse my reading.
No,
please.
you're great,
perfect.
and that's
You're
I mean
good.
that's your life verse. That's what
Yep.
you're doing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here today, Mom. I appreciate you bringing Nixon in.
I would like to just add one thing if we just have one
Please
second.
do. You have
1 second
12
here.
seconds.
We accept cards year-round. It's not just this time of year.
Okay. Anytime somebody wants to draw a card, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it to the church, bring it to Hy-Vee. Here's what I want to leave you with. Remember that if you speak in tongues of men or angels, but you don't have love, you have nothing at all. If you don't have prophecy, that's okay. But if you don't have love, then you're not listening to God. God is love. And thank you for listening. to KCRO.
Yes.